Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam episode number 62. Thirukkolur Penpillai has been instrumental in making us aware of the great saints and devotees, and by her method of comparing with the qualities displayed by these great saints and devotees, she is helping us, paving a path for us to lead a happy, peaceful and a beautiful life if we follow these teachings of Thirukkolur Penpillai. Now in the current Bhakti Rahasyam, she is comparing herself with one of the attributes of Swami Ramanuja, not being aware that the person to whom she is talking is none other than great Swami Ramanuja himself. Her Bhakti Rahasyam goes like this: did I win over Advaita like Swami Ramanuja? Let us see some background to this before we go into the main content. Now, our Sanatana Dharma, our way of life, it has no beginning, it will have no end. There are multiple schools of thought which is very clearly explained in this Sanatana Dharma. Complex philosophical questions like creation of the world, purpose of creation, purpose of human birth, Paramatma, that is the supreme soul, Jivatma, which is the individual soul, Prakriti, which is the matter, universe. All these complex things have been explained in various scriptures in variety of ways. Now, various scholars, saints of the past, have interpreted these complex questions, these complex things, and they have written commentaries on this, which led to divergent schools of thought. Now, there are many such schools, but prominent ones which are commonly spoken are Advaita, which was established by Adi Guru Shankaracharya, Dvaita, which was established by Swami Madhvacharya, and Vishishtadvaita, which was fortified by Swami Ramanuja himself. Now, the concept of Vishishtadvaita existed since the Azhwars time, but Swami Ramanuja gave a structure, a framework to this school of thought. Now, there are multiple debates we see these days. It's very common for laymen to comment on these highest schools of thought like Advaita, Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita. Common people compare the greatness of Shri Adi Shankara or Swami Madhva, Swami Ramanuja. They debate which school of thought is superior. But we should be very well aware that this particular topic is the subject, is in the domain of experts in Vedas and Vedanta, and it is very difficult for common people like us to understand these philosophies. So there is no point in debating which philosophy is superior. Just because there are divergent philosophies, there is a rich literature in our dharma to learn from for sincere seekers who want to research, who want to learn more. So rather than comparing or criticizing that, oh, there are so much divisions. So basically these are not divisions, these are just divergent views. So rather than understanding that fact, if we start criticizing, oh, there are multiple views, Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma is confusing, then it is only for us to bear the loss, because we would be devoid of such a rich literature just to see how those intellectual sages thought. It's fine for us to go through multiple schools of thought and take whatever we can practice in our day-to-day life. That is what we can do in the midst of our working lives. Now, coming back to our Rahasyam. In the good old days, there were debates on the various philosophical schools of thought by qualified scholars. People used to place their arguments, the people who used to support Advaita, they used to place their arguments. The people who used to support other schools of thought, they used to discuss among themselves, debate among themselves, and then they used to establish the superiority of one versus the other. Now, again, one thing has to be kept in mind, that though the great acharyas, the great sages, had divergent philosophical views, but they came together. They were at the same pedestal when they said that the easiest way to attain God in this Kali Yuga is through constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord and chanting His names continuously while doing our duties with utmost sincerity. This was the summary, though the detailed philosophies and their interpretations would be different. So we just have to take that summary, do our duties, remember the Lord constantly, chant His names. That itself becomes the Bhakti Yoga or the Yoga of devotion, where everyone converged. So when these debates used to happen, Swami Ramanuja also engaged in debates, though he was not in favor of holding debates. Yet if people came to him asking for a debate, he felt that it was his duty to guide the people in that particular time period. Now, one more thing which needs to be considered is, even these schools of thought have evolved over a period of time. These great acharyas, in whatever age or era they were in, considering the situation, the spiritual situation, considering the various factors prevalent at that point in time, they had established these philosophies, these interpretations. Now, over a period of time, when there was some kind of a chaos and confusion in a particular school of thought, there was the next acharya who picked up, who gave a different interpretation so that it can be clear to people. Now, just for example, here Adi Guru Shankaracharya, when he established this philosophy of Advaita, it would be somewhere in the 6th to 7th century CE, just a rough time period estimate, because Adi Guru Shankaracharya came first. So when he spoke about Advaita, his interpretation of Advaita would be at a very different level. Now, for common people to understand and follow, and even in the midst of the common people, there would be definitely some so-called intellectuals who would claim that, oh, they are the perfect interpreters of what Swami Shankara would have said. So there was a lot of confusion prevailing at a particular point in time after Shankara's era. So that's when Swami Ramanuja stepped in around 10th century CE. So when he expounded this thought of Vishishta Advaita. Now we are not going into details. First of all, I am not qualified to expound any of these theories, these interpretations. I'm just I'm in first standard, whereas these works are PhD works, so that's the level gap. So I can't do justice to explain these things. But Swami Ramanuja had got into these debates to clear the air at that point in time. His philosophy was very simple. He said that there is the Supreme Soul, which is the Paramatma. Everyone else, that is we human beings, all living beings, have a Jiva or a Jivatma or a soul present within each and every one of us. That is the life soul within everyone. Now the connection between the Supreme Soul and the individual soul is, this individual soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. So our duty is to depend, is to pray, is to surrender, Sharanagati. So the individual soul has to surrender to the Supreme Soul and go on performing its duties. So that is a very simple message for us working people who have to juggle among multiple priorities in life. So when he started to explain these philosophies, it was very easy for the common man to grab. They felt that this philosophy is very accessible. Whereas Advaita, it talks about the Supreme Soul and the individual soul as one and the same. Now it requires a lot of advanced spiritual maturity to understand this concept, which may not be accessible to common people like us. For us, we do our duties, we pray God, and we make an effort to think about the Lord at all times, whatever we do. So in one such debate, now Swami Ramanuja had multiple debates with multiple people throughout his lifetime, but it was one particular instance which captured Thirukkolur Penpillai's attention. In this holy land of Srirangam, where Swami Ramanuja was residing, once there came an Advaiti scholar by the name Yajnamurti. Now, Yajnamurti had this habit of going to various places and inviting the people, the scholars from other schools of thought for a debate. Then he used to have that pleasure of winning over the debates. So that was his track record, a successful track record. So he felt that now he had grown a lot in this research in this field. So he thought, okay, let me now challenge someone bigger to establish my supremacy. So with that objective, he came to Srirangam. He saw Swami Ramanuja. He said he wanted to engage in a debate on Advaita versus Vishishta Advaita with him. Now again, Swami Ramanuja was not interested, but he felt that in order to guide the people in a proper way, he needed to enter into this debate. So Swami Ramanuja agreed. He asked how much days Yajnamurti wanted to debate with him. So Yajnamurti said it will be an 18 days debate where we will present our points of view, our perspective. Fine, let's go ahead. Now, what is the deal? One who wins, one who loses, how it is to be agreed upon. So that also Yajnamurti says, if he, that is Yajnamurti, would lose the debate, then he will immediately embrace Vishishta Advaitam and he will become a disciple of Swami Ramanuja. Then he asks Swami Ramanuja, what if you lose the debate? Swami Ramanuja says, all my life, I have been writing multiple commentaries on various scriptures from the perspective of Vishishtadvaita. If I lose, I will stop writing commentaries with immediate effect. So, with this deal, the great debate started. It went on for 16 days. In those 16 days, both sides presented their arguments and there was no clear winner, because both Yajnamurti and Swami Ramanuja were going head to head. So people were stunned to listen to such an intellectual debate. Come day 17, Yajnamurti started getting a slightly upper hand. And as the day progressed, as the debate progressed, when it came to an end, everyone knew that Yajnamurti is going to be the clear winner. There is one more day left to the debate. Now, the day was called off and then everyone retired to their respective places. Swami Ramanuja was a bit dejected by the turn of the events. So, he goes to his ashram, his mutt. He is in no mood to have food. He goes before his Lord Varadaraja. He prays to him, "O Lord, this particular philosophy of Vishishtadvaita, which was prevalent right from the times of the great Azhwars, the great devotees of Lord Vishnu, which was further strengthened by Swami Nadamunigal. So, if such a great philosophy has to get disappeared, it has to vanish in my time, if that is your wish, then so be it." This is kind of a cynical prayer, we can say, where Swami Ramanuja feels that this philosophy is going to stop, because that was the kind of the result on the 17th day, where Yajnamurti had an upper hand, and should Ramanuja lose this debate, he was going to stop writing commentaries on Vishishtadvaita. That would effectively mean that the spread of Vishishtadvaita would be stopped. Now, with this dejection in mind, he fell asleep. He had a beautiful dream where Lord Varadaraja appeared. He consoles his disciple, his devotee. "Oh Swami Ramanuja, why are you so worried, so dejected? If Yajnamurti has placed these arguments, you have to answer him in this particular way." The Lord gives that direction to Swami Ramanuja. And again the Lord assures that it is a part of my plan. It's my game plan. And this Yajnamurti is going to be your disciple. By the turn of events, I am preparing a great disciple for you, O Ramanuja, don't worry. With that assurance, when Swami Ramanuja woke up, he had no sort of dejection or any negative emotions, whatever he was going through the previous day. With the full assurance from Lord and his intentions which he saw in the dream, he gets ready for the debate on the 18th day. He steps into the debate arena where Yajnamurti is already seated. Various people have come. In fact, the crowds have swelled on the last day, just like we seeing the slog overs of a cricket match. What is going to happen? Very interesting. So people are there. People with both intentions. One who are dejected, feeling that, oh, with today, if Yajnamurti wins, it will be the end of Vishishtadvaita. There are others who are happy that, well, this is how it should be. Now we need to have Yajnamurti winning over Swami Ramanuja. Those people who would be jealous of the sage. So the mixed crowd was there. The stage was set. Swami Ramanuja enters the arena with full confidence, filled with positivity, full of assertiveness. The moment Yajnamurti saw Swami Ramanuja, he just fell at his feet. He said, I accept my defeat. So Swami Ramanuja is now stunned by this turn of events, though internally he knew it was Lord Vardaraja playing this game. He asks Yajnamurti, oh Yajnamurti, the debate is not yet over. Till yesterday, this was the status. Now today we have to debate and then we have to decide who is the winner. Before that, how can you accept defeat? To which Yajnamurti says, if I were to debate with a human, I can still expect my victory. But what to say about the fact that I have to debate with the Lord? So when you entered, O Swami, I felt as if the Lord is entering the debate arena. I cannot win against the Lord. I accept the defeat. Now we don't know in what form Yajnamurti saw Swami Ramanuja when he entered, but just one mere look, he accepted his defeat and he immediately became a disciple of Swami Ramanuja. So such an inspiring story. In fact, I have to say that in all these Bhakti Rahasyams definitely give us valuable lessons, but this one has to be my personal favorite, where it's so blissful to imagine that confidence, that assertiveness, that positivity which Swami Ramanuja would have displayed. And I have no surprise when Thirukkolur Penpillai benchmarks with this quality of Swami Ramanuja. Did I win Advaita like Swami Ramanuja? Now, here again, we are not getting into the supremacy of the schools of thought. It is just the way in which Swami Ramanuja handled this situation is what attracted Thirukkolur Penpillai. So it's not that, oh, Swami Ramanuja won over Advaita means this school of thought is supreme. We don't have to get into such comparisons at all. It is just this technique. So even the highlight of this Bhakti Rahasyam can be the challenge which Swami Ramanuja faced. Even we face such challenges, such difficult situations where, say, we have to convince the other party or we have to enter into a negotiation, we have to close a deal. It's a tough talk. So at that point in time, all these traits, positive traits, are necessary for us to survive that situation rather than blaming and criticizing the situation and losing the plot. So this is what this incident teaches us about survival skills. That is when we have done our best, whatever we could do. Still, if the things look like they are going out of our hand, the best thing is to surrender to the Lord and seek His guidance. Swami Ramanuja did not, he was dejected, but he did not get into some kind of a withdrawal symptom. He didn't show that everything was lost, now things are going down. He had that presence of mind to pray to the Lord surrender to the Lord. That's what he teaches us through this Bhakti Rahasyam. So that brings us to the end of this inspiring Bhakti Rahasyam number 62. So have we also got some tips on how to handle difficult or crunch situations? Let's surrender to the Lord. Let's constantly remember Him, and let's put our best foot forward in all situations in our life. That was all from our current Bhakti Rahasyam. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.